All righty. What's happening? What's cracking, malackin'? Welcome, welcome. Episode 106 of the Nuna. There we go. Hey, everybody, welcome. Episode 106 of the Nooner. I'm your host, David Bradley. Thank you guys for being here. Landing Point, appreciate you popping in. Thank you for the favor and the restream in advance. Good to have you guys here. So this is the Nooner every Monday through Friday. Weekdays, Pacific Standard Time, 12 o'clock noon. I'm popping in. I'm dropping a noontime nugget about sales, business, or life. Got this nice funky grooving music. Hey, Bill, good to see you, buddy. So what do we got going on today? So in the United States, it's President's Day. It's a day that we honor U.S. presidents and their the service they've given to this great nation. This weekend also we had Valentine's Day. So that's the day, and that's an international holiday. That's the day we celebrate and honor love. And so what I'm going to talk about today, the main ingredient to sales success. So allow me to introduce myself to you officially. My name is David Bradley. I'm a sales and marketing manager with Grant Cardone. I've been working with Grant since March of 2011. Started following his teachings in 2003. Grant's training took me from barely surviving in sales to thriving in it. In 2011, I got an opportunity to share it with other people. So when I got that opportunity, man, it was a no-brainer. I was all in. So what do we do in our company? So if this is the first time you're seeing this, if you're catching this stream on YouTube after the fact, here's what we do. Cardone Training Technologies, we can increase production in a company 15 to 30% simply by helping them find and then handle missed opportunity. So if you take a look at your business now, if you take a look at what your reality point is, what does your production look like? Add 15 to 30%. If you like what that looks like, I want you to reach out to me. David at grantcardone.com is my email. You can call me directly, 310-777-0352. Look, 75% of what we do in our company is 100% free. I've seen guys get on some of our free products and get that 15 to 30% very, very quickly. We've got some stuff you can invest in that can also generate that kind of a result for you, if not more. Either way, I'm here to help. Phone number again, 310-777-0352. David at Grant Cardone is the email address. Two other things on me. I'm the founder of a hashtag called Rich Man's Gym. This is about home-based strength and conditioning for body, mind, and spirit. I don't think you got to go to the gym to get in the best shape of your life. You can do that from home. You can do it in the garage. You can do it in the backyard. You can do it at a local park. Any place you can lug a pair of kettlebells or dumbbells or some Olympic rings or a TRX. That's your rich man's gym. And wouldn't you rather train outdoors, in the fresh air, in the sunshine, right, than in a sweaty, smelly, confined gym? I would. It's not for everybody, but that's my deal. That's my next book that I'm working on. The first book I wrote, though, is a book on how to stop smoking. It's called How to Stop Smoking Without Killing Anyone. Big difference between stopping and quitting, and that's what I cover in that book. So if you've ever experienced addiction, whether that's cigarettes, alcohol, drugs, food, whatever, this book will help you kick that habit. Check out my website, stopdon'tquit.com. There's a program in there to get habit-free in 3 days or less. Hey, Chad, nice to see you. Appreciate the like there and potential restream. So what are we talking about today? The main ingredient in sales. Now, Monday on the Nooner, what I like to do is circle back and sort of debrief and review and touch on Grant Cardone's strategy of the week, which he'll put out the week or the day before or what am I talking about? Friday. Thursday, Friday, Grant writes a strategy, blasts it out, and in that strategy, he talked about the love of sales. So what this did was this got the wheels turning. So on Mondays, I always like to sort of go in, debrief, put my 2 cents on it, and that's going to be our Nooner. So today we're going to be looking at the main ingredient to sales success. Now, yesterday was Valentine's Day. Today is President's Day, where we honor, as I mentioned earlier, the service that these men have provided their country. We just sort of say thank you to these guys. So, whether you agree with him or not, whether you believe, I mean, if you just look at, I'm not the biggest Obama supporter, but if you look at the color of his hair when he went into office versus now, different guy. Yeah, 8 years have passed, but good Lord. That's a stressful gig. I don't care who you are, and I don't care what your political views are. Anybody that takes on that challenge deserves a handshake, a thank you, and a nod. So, success in sales. There's one main ingredient. And I think to be successful at anything, hey Laura, thank you for the restream and the like. If you want to be successful in anything, you need to have what Grant talks about, A cubed. 3 things: attitude, approach, and action. Approach, though, is a very important piece of the puzzle. And there's a lot of other individuals out there that have achieved a high level of success that will talk about the approach part of things being an integral piece of the puzzle. Marcus Lemonis, he's got his 3 Ps: people, process, and product, right? But process and approach are very, very essential in terms of creating success. So if you want to be successful in sales, what if there was a recipe that you could follow that would be very, very easy, to follow? And you got to follow all the steps, though, or else, your bread ain't going to rise. Grant told me and the VP of sales in our company, Jared, years ago, he told us this really cool story about how when he first started learning the game of blackjack, he bought a book on it. He read like the first 3 chapters and then thought, I knew everything there is to know about blackjack. He went out there and lost his ass, because he only read 3 chapters. He didn't read the other 7 in the book. So he went out half-cocked. He went out without having the full right approach. Does that make sense? He didn't put all the ingredients in to win. So when you look at sales, there's a recipe. Okay? This book is your recipe. It's called Sell or Be Sold: How to Get Your Way in Sales, Business, and in Life. Okay? The recipe is in this book for success in sales. But what's the key ingredient? So I'm going to go back to this cake thing that I was talking about, or bread. You want your bread to rise, okay? You want your cake to rise, right? You're going to need specific things: flour, eggs, water, milk, sugar, right? Need some sweetness in that cake. But look, grandma's cake always tastes better than the one you buy at the store. Why? What is that secret special ingredient that Nana puts in there? Anybody care to make a guess? Bill, what's the secret ingredient in grandma's cake? Laura, what do you think? It's not flour, it's not eggs, it's not sugar. It's a 4-letter word. What do you think it is? Should I start the Jeopardy music? Somebody type it in. Come on. Care. Close. Bill says care. Very, very close. It's love. Thank you, Bill. Grandma puts love in her cake. She puts love in her cooking. She puts love in her food. And when you go to restaurants, sometimes you taste it, right? That's right, Chad. Chad's got it. Chad says love. Right on, Chad. Think about that, right? Love, love, love. Okay? So that's the secret ingredient. And it's a massive, it makes the difference between a good cake and an average cake, or a good meal and an average meal, right? And so, like, for example, there's a restaurant in Reseda that my wife and I go to. It's called Las Fuentes, and phenomenal Mexican food. But what stands out in their food, and in the service they provide too, but what stands out so much is that you can taste the love in the cooking. You literally can taste it. I don't know I can't define the taste of love, but when you taste it, you know it, right? Everybody knows that meal where you're like, man, there's some love in that cooking, right? Okay? So, what does it have to do with selling? I'm going to bring this to you, okay? how this goes for sales success. This goes for success in selling. Okay, the main ingredient in this is love. Okay, so when we look at Grant's strategy that he talked about last Friday, he recounts how he made the most important sale in his life, which is his wife. And he says she was the toughest sale he ever made. You know, Grant has been involved in deals worth over 80 million bucks. Okay, but it didn't even compare when you look at him meeting, courting, and winning his wife. I mean, she wouldn't even pay attention to him. And if you want to read the full story, it's the last, not the last, but it's towards the end of this book. Okay, so the message that Grant was sending out on Valentine's Day weekend was that if it wasn't for his view of selling being this necessary component to success in all areas of life, and that if he didn't understand that success in selling was a recipe and that all he needed to do was sell himself to Elena, he would have given up. He would have thrown in the towel. So the first thing I want to encourage you to do is you want to start thinking about, hey, what are some things that I'm not sold on in my own life? Where are some places I'm trying to go, some things I want to accomplish that I'm not totally sold on, okay? And what's missing, let's talk about this main ingredient again, is how much love are we putting into this, okay? So your ability to persuade others, your ability to get your way, is literally going to determine how well you're going to do in every area of your life, not just in sales or not just in business, right? You're going to need a home loan someday. You're going to need to convince somebody of something. Now, the secret ingredient, though, is that there's steps to selling, right? You're going to have to greet somebody. You got to figure out what's important to them. You're going to have to find a product and then present the product and then show them the pricing options and then ask for the business and then follow that whole thing up. So that's the process. But you need to have some love in there. Okay? So what does that mean? So when you read about Grant meeting and courting and wooing and then marrying Elena, he literally lays out this perfect metaphor for selling and for success in sales. Okay? But look, the main ingredient for that was love. So why wouldn't you want to bring that main ingredient into your selling career? Okay? You have to be in love with your product. Deeply in love with your product. You have to be in love with your company in what you guys do. And love, if you're married, when you get married, you make a vow of better or worse, rich or poor, sickness, health. Because that is what true love is all about. When you put that level of love into your product and your company, because look, man, it ain't going to be perfect. It ain't going to be red roses all the time. Doesn't mean you stop loving it. Doesn't mean you bail out and go try and find something better. Man, you stick it out. Okay? So when you love your product and your product's got a defect or your product has a challenge, that doesn't mean you bail out and you go try the next best thing. It means you stick with it. You go to work for a company, you need to fall in love with that company. And you need to make that kind of a commitment to your company. I love this company, man. I love the company I work for. We got some good stuff. We've got some challenges. There's a few bad things every now and again. But you know what, man? It's worth it. Why? Because I know what we're doing is going to make a difference for the better. Okay, so you need to know that about your company. And that awareness that we're out there, this company that I work for, that you work for, is making a difference for the better. You tie into that mission, and then you fall in love with that. Okay? You also need to know that the service you provide is top-notch. So that might mean you need to fall in love with yourself. Because no matter how much you love your company, and no matter how much you love the product, if you don't love you and your ability to deliver, stay home. Don't even bother showing up. You got to get clear on you. You got to love you too. Does that make sense? You got to know you're the right person for the job. And if you don't, if you're not 100% confident in that, then you need to put some serious time into making that a reality. So, service in your heart, love of your product, love of your company, love of yourself and your ability to get the job done for your client. Okay? So to wrap this up, let's get some music to wrap this up first. What are you guys hearing that you like? Huh? This resonating with you the day after Valentine's Day? The day, President's Day, where we honor men who have service in their heart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read to you the last chapter, or the last paragraph of chapter 11 from Sell or Be Sold. That chapter is called Give, Give, Give. And it's taken from a subchapter. It says, make service senior to selling. I think it's a perfect way to wrap up the Nooner the day after Valentine's Day. Okay, if you don't have this book and you're catching this on YouTube, there'll be a link down below. For those of you watching this thing live, I want you to go to this website, sellerbesold.info, and you can get more information about all of this book, and you can order a copy there as well if you don't have it already. It's available in book formats, on MP3. This is a book that should be read by everybody. I think it should be taught in high school. So here's your last chapter if you're ready. If you incorporate these simple truths about giving and providing stellar service, I assure you that you'll become a master of your trade. You'll experience a confidence that you cannot put any value on, and that is worth more than money itself. You'll be able to name your price, go where you want, work with whomever you choose, sell whatever products you choose to sell, and provide for yourself and your family in ways that most people only dream of. You'll also experience a lifestyle that very few people actually have. One free of stress, worry, and problems. So give, give, give of yourself fully and provide unparalleled levels of service. Okay. That's been episode 106 of the Nooner. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you hanging out with me on President's Day. Have a stellar week. Tomorrow I'm popping in here. We're going to talk about a different trait of a great salesperson. Wednesday I'll be pulling a quote from one of Grant's other books. Thursday we'll be breaking down a news item. And then on Friday, the floor is open. Thank you guys for being here. So Bill wrote Stella, and I'm wondering if that means Stella as in like stellar, or if Bill's over there having a streetcar named Desire moment. Who knows? Thank you guys for being here. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. Be great, because nothing else pays.